What if humanity's last hope was a man who didn't even ask for the job? Today, we're talking about Project Hail Mary, a sci-fi blockbuster that blends heart, humour, and survival in a way we don't often see anymore. And honestly, this one surprised me. Stick around because one character in this film completely steals the show, and it might not be who you expect. At its core, the story is incredibly simple. It follows Ryland Grace, played by Ryan Gosling, a man stranded in space trying to figure out how to get home safely. But before he can even think about that, he has to help his unexpected rock-based alien companion Rocky to get back to his home planet safely. That simplicity is actually the film's biggest strength, because instead of overcomplicating things, it allows the emotion and heart to take center stage. The screenplay is written by Drew Goddard, and it's smart enough to not drown the audience in constant exposition. Having said that, there are a few moments where it slips into that, and I'll get to that shortly. And trust me, the way this film balances science with emotion is where either wins you over or loses you completely. This is very much a one-man crusade story. Grace is relying on his intelligence, problem solving, and sheer will to survive, which naturally invites comparisons to films like Castaway. But for me, the standout here is Ryan Gosling. This is easily the best performance of his career. I've always felt Gosling leans into that calm, controlled persona, but here the script and direction give him the space to show real range, especially in the comedic moments. And that really comes alive once he meets Rocky. Because once Rocky enters the story, the entire tone of the film shifts, and that's where it becomes something special. Let's talk about Rocky. He is going to be a fan favourite, no question. The voice performance from James Ortiz is absolutely spot on. His delivery is monotone, almost mechanical, but somehow it conveys everything about Rocky's personality. And the relationship between Rocky and Grace is the emotional core of the film, and that's what keeps you invested. The film is directed by Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, and you can feel their confidence throughout. They know when to slow things down, to let the emotional beats land, and they know exactly when to raise the stakes. There's also a really interesting visual choice here. The film was shot digitally, but then converted to film in post-production. That gives it a warm, textured look, and avoids the flat, overly clean digital aesthetic that has become far too common today in Hollywood. It is a subtle detail, but it actually makes a big difference in how cinematic the film feels. Now, it is not perfect. The biggest issue for me is exposition. There are a few scenes, particularly in the Earth-based flashbacks, where the film leans a bit too heavily into explaining things. Sandra Hüller, who plays Ava Strutt, has a moment where she essentially delivers a full exposition dump. Now, to be fair, there are visual aids behind her, and the scene moves fairly quickly, but you can feel the film telling rather than showing in those moments. Thankfully, these scenes do not last too long. And to be honest, if those scenes were handled slightly better, this could have been something truly special. Overall, Project Hail Mary is a refreshing return to smart, emotional blockbuster filmmaking. It is funny, heartfelt, and most importantly, it respects the audience's intelligence. Ryan Gosling delivers a career-best performance, and Rocky completely steals the show whenever he appears. And this is exactly the kind of original blockbuster Hollywood needs more of right now. For me, this is a 7 out of 10. But I want to hear from you. Did Project Hail Mary live up to the hype, or did it fall short of your expectations? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.